day. I'm Mr. Clinton Yu, Plv-Rotcu Coordinator. I am a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Criminology, and recently I graduated Master in Government Management. And I'm also one of the lecturers as NSTP instructor in the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Valenzuela. And now I will discuss In Praise of Followers by Robert Kelly. This subject takes me time to read. It is very interesting to read this. And this is such an honor to teach this to you, cadets. Sana pakinggan natin na mabuti. Marami po kayong matutunan dito. So, let's start. We are convinced that corporations succeed or fail, compete or crumble on the basis of how well they are led. Kaya naman, pinag-aralan natin yung mga great leaders of the past and present and spend vast quantities of time and money looking for leaders to hire and trying to cultivate leadership in the employees we already have. Wala tayong kontra doon, no? Every leader matters greatly. Kaso, ayun nga, no? Naghahanap tayo ng leaders. No? Nakakaligtaan natin na dapat din tayong maghanap ng mga tao that these leaders will lead. Halimbawa, without his armies, no? After all, Napoleon Bonaparte was just a man with grandiose ambitions. In other words, every leader ay kailangan ng members. Yes, we have no arguments regarding for those organizations na until now, they are standing tall, or those organizations na bumagsak because of the basis of how well their leaders lead. Pero, hindi natin dapat kalimutan yung factor o yung basis of how well their followers follow. Diba? Nakakasunod ba ng maayos yung members na leader? That is another question, right? So now, we will have a story based on this module. Okay? So in 1987, there is declining profitability and intensified competition for corporate clients that forced a large commercial bank on the East Coast to reorganize its operations and cut its workforce. Its most seasoned managers had to spend most of their time in field working with corporate customers. Time and energies were stretched so thin that one department head decided he had no choice but to delegate the responsibility for reorganization to his staff people who had recently had training in self-management. To summarize, yung leaders or managers, even supervisors of this bank were so stretched, no, napaka-busy kumbaga. So there is no choice but to delegate, no? Ibigay yung task sa kanilang mga staff na nakapag-training naman ng self-management. To cut the story short, no, they pulled it off. Yes, no, napagtagumpayan ng staff yung binigay ng mga tasks sa kanila. The bank's officers were delighted and frankly amazed that rank and file employees could assume much responsibility so successfully. In fact, the department's capacity to control and direct itself virtually without leadership saved the organization months of turmoil. And as the bank struggled to remain a major player in its region, valuable management time was freed up to put out others' fire. No? So, ano nangyari? Anong ginawa ng mga staff para maging successful sila sa task na binigay sa kanila, even without a guidance of an effective leader? These employees accepted the delegation of authority and went there alone. They thought for themselves, sharpened their skills, focused their efforts, put on a fine display of grit and spunk and self-control. Sa madaling salita, they followed effectively. No? To encourage this kind of effective following in other organizations, no, kailangan nating maintindihan ano ba yung role ni followers sa isang specific organization. Ano ba yung role ng mga members sa isang grupo. And to cultivate good followers, kailangan din natin maintindihan ano yung qualities ng isang tao para maging isang effective follower. Okay? So now, we'll start to the role of follower. Bosses are not necessarily good leaders. Even subordinates are not necessarily effective followers. Many bosses couldn't lead the horse to water. Many subordinates couldn't follow a parade. Some people avoid either role. Yung iba naman, they accepted it, pero they perform it badly. At different points in their careers, even at different times of the working day, most managers play both roles, though seldom equally well. After all, the leadership role has the glamour and attention. Maraming mga pinaprovide na leadership courses para maging isang effective leader. And when they play it well, they get applause and recognition, even awards. But the reality is, most of us, or more often followers than leader. Mas marami yung follower kaysa leader. Even when we have subordinates, may mga staff tayo sa ibaba ng organization chart natin. We still have bosses. Mayroon pa rin tayong amo o supervisor. For every committee we chair, we sit as a member. No? So followership dominates our lives and organizations. Mas madami syempre yung bilang ng mga staff kaysa sa supervisors. But not our thinking. Dahil mas lamang sa isip natin o mas aware tayo sa importance ng leadership, kaya naman nawawala sa isip natin yung importance ng followership. Diba? Maaari ang iba sa inyo aware sa mga trainings like leadership trainings and seminars, pero hindi pa narinig yung effective followership trainings. Diba? Sabi natin, diba? If you want to be a good leader, you must be a good follower. So, how to be a good follower? Nakakalimutan natin, dadaan tayo sa pagiging member or follower before we could take larger roles like being a leader. And not just being a leader, but an effective leader. So ngayon, ang goal natin after this presentation ay matutunan natin paano maging isang effective follower. No? Okay. Ang pinagkaiba po, no, ng isang effective at ineffective follower is yung pagiging enthusiastic, pagiging passionate. You love what you're doing. Effective followers are intelligent, marunong at alam nila ang ginagawa nila, and they had self-reliant participation. In other words, they are independent in the sense na kaya nilang gawin ang task on their own without star-billing in the pursuit of an organizational goal. Effective followers differ in their motivations for following and in their perceptions o yung pagtingin nila sa role bilang sila ay follower. Yung iba, they choose followership as their primary role at work and serve as team players who take satisfaction in helping. Kumbaga, they provide support to further a cause, an idea, a product, a service, or a person. Others are leaders in some situations, pero mas pinipili nila maging follower na lamang o maging member in a particular context. Both these groups view the role of follower as legitimate, inherently valuable, and even virtuous. No? Some people, some potentially effective followers derive motivation from ambition. By proving themselves in the follower's role, they hope to win the confidence of peers and superiors and move up the corporate ladder. Hindi naman masama magkaroon ng ambisyon, pero sana naaayon. No? At isa pa, dito pumapasok yung mga salitang, hayaan mo ang resulta mo ang magsalita para sa'yo. Hindi mo kailangan ipaglandakan o mangagaw ng credits na hindi naman sa'yo. Kung gawin ba sa'yo yun, ano mararamdaman mo? Matutuwa ka ba? Para lang umangat ka, kailangan mong tumapak ng ibang tao. These people do not see followership as attractive in itself. All the same, pwede po silang maging good followers kung sakaling tatanggapin nila yung value or importance ng pagiging effective follower. Yung pag-aralan kung paano maging isang effective leader from a subordinate's view or perspective and pag-polish ng kanilang skills as followers. Dahil ito pong followership skills ay magagamit natin kahit saan man tayo mapunta. Mag-aim muna tayo sa pwede nating ma-excel. No? Ma-excel natin yung field ng followership so that whenever the time comes when you are designated as a leader, you know how to create an effective follower na kasama mo para mapagtagumpayan yung task na maaaring ibigay sa inyo. So, understanding motivations and perceptions is not enough. However, Since followers with different motivations can perform equally well, Robert Kelly, the author of this topic, examined that behavior that leads to effective and less effective following among people committed to the organization and came up with two underlying behavioral dimensions that help to explain the difference. Ang unang dimension po ay vertical. No? I will show you the image. Yan. Ang unang dimension po ay yung pa-vertical. Ayan. Na tumutukoy to either a follower is independent or dependent. Or he has a critical thinking or not. Yung pangalawang dimension po ay yung horizontal. Na tumutukoy naman kung ang isang follower ay active o masipag or may initiative. Or passive o kailangan pang tapikin para gumalaw. No? As you see in the figure 2.1, no? The 5 followership patterns. No? Pansinin po natin. Mayroon po tayong 5 klase ng tao dyan. Okay? Una, the allied follower. No? The sheep. The yes people. The effective followers. And the survivor. No? Doon muna tayo sa sheep. They are passive and uncritical, lacking in initiative and sense of responsibility. They perform the task given them and then stop na. Yan, di ba? They lack both initiative and critical thinking. Yes, people. They are livelier compared to sheep, but equally a non-enterprising group. They are dependent on a leader for inspiration. They can be aggressively deferential or submissive. Dahil again, nakadepende sila sa boss or sa leader nila. Bosses that are weak in judgment and self-confidence tend to like them and to form alliances with them. At ito po ay maaaring magresulta sa pagbagsak ng isang organization. Yan, pansinin naman po natin yung allied followers. They are critical and independent in their thinking, but passive in carrying out their role. Ang iba dito, mahilig mag-procrastinate. May maya na habit. Mamaya na lang hanggang sa di matapos yung gagawin. Meron din somehow, sometime, something turned them off. Bigla na lang, ayaw na lang ituloy. No? They're often cynical. When we say cynical, they are not trusting or respecting the goodness of other people and their actions. Para silang kontrabida sa isang serye. They tend to sink gradually into disgruntled acquiescence or pagiging informal. Lagi na lang may sinasabing hindi maganda or something opposing the leader's efforts. In other words, magaling sana, kaso ma-attitude. No? Sayang yung galing kung hindi naman maganda ang ugali. Okay? Now, in the very center of the diagram, we have survivors, no? Who perpetually sample the wind and live by the slogan, better safe than sorry. Okay? So they are adept at surviving change. Depende sa situation. Kung saan sila, saan nila makikitang magbe-benefit sila. Kung maga sa madaling salita, sila po ay sumasabay sa agos ng ilog. No? In the upper right-hand corner, finally, we have effective followers who think for themselves and carry out their duties and assignments with energy and assertiveness or confidence. No? Sila yung bida sa teleserye. They shine because they are risk takers, they are self-starters, and independent problem solvers. They get consistently high ratings from peers and many superior. No? Effective followers are well-balanced and responsible adults who can succeed without strong leadership. Many followers believe they offer as much value to their organization as leaders do, especially in project or task force situation. Minsan nga, mas may ambag pa ang followers or members kaysa kay leader. No? In an organization of effective follower, a leader tends to be more an overseer of change and progress than a hero. No, kumbaga patingin-tingin na lamang. No, unlike sa ibang organization na puro sheep or yes people, talagang hands-on ang leader if he is efficient enough para buhatin ng isang organization. No. Dito, In our unit, we had a tradition of teaching others to be an effective follower as well as being an effective and efficient leader. The first step is, I do, you watch. No? I will do the thing, panoorin mo, i-observe mo, pag-aralan mo. No? Next is, I do, you do. No? Habang ginagawa ko, sabayan mo ko. Gawin natin na magkasama hanggang sa magamay mo. No? And the last step, no? You do, I watch. Gawin mo. Supervise kita. Whether you have questions or situations na hindi kaya i-handle, tutulungan pa din kita. But as to supervise, to what will you gonna do? Okay? Now, sabi nga natin kanina, to produce effective leaders, no? You should have produced first effective followers. Then we will now discuss what are the qualities of followers. Number 1, effective followers share a number of essential qualities. Una, they can manage themselves well. In other words, hindi sila yung pabigat pa sa organization. No, second, ito pong mga taong ito, iwanan mo mag-isa, no? They are committed to the organization and to a purpose, principle, or person outside themselves. No? Kahit iwan mo sila mag-isa. No? Third, they build their competence and focus their efforts for maximum impact. Lagi po nating ipinapaalala, in everything you do, do your best. Ipakita mo, you are worthy enough for a bigger responsibility. Kahit maliit o kaunti ang responsibilities and obligations mo, do it with your utmost effort and give your all. Bakit? May kasabihan po tayo, ang hindi mapagkakatiwalaan sa maliit na bagay ay hindi mapagkakatiwalaan sa malaking bagay. So how come na ibigay sa iyo yung malaking project or opportunity if sa maliit na bagay pa lang, you are failing to do it? No? And last, effective followers are courageous, honest, and credible. They add their words of honor. They are risk takers in the sense na they are conniving their ideas and innovations for a better result. Being honest is a habit. No? Inuugali ang pagiging tapat in every situation you may be. And they are reliable, maasahan. They are the people we can count on. Okay? So, number 2, self-management. No? Paradoxically, the key to being an effective follower is the ability to think for oneself, to exercise control and independence, and to work without close supervision. Mismo sila, they can manage themselves. Good followers are people to whom a leader can safely delegate responsibility. Sila yung mga taong alam nila sa kanilang sarili ano yung kailangan nilang gawin at their own level of competence and authority. Another aspect of this paradox is that effective followers see themselves bilang equal ng kanilang mga leaders. But except in terms of line responsibilities, syempre, no? According to structure, sila pa din ng iyong supervisor. These people are more apt to openly and unapologetically disagree with leadership at hindi gaanong nai-intimidate by hierarchy or organizational structure. Because these people know they work and know how to do things. And at the same time, nauunawaan nila yung situation ng kanilang leader na may sinusunod lang din. And they try to appreciate the goals and needs of the team and the organization. Yun yung mahalaga. No? You know the goals of the team. You know the strengths as well as the weaknesses that is needed to be. No? That is needed to be adopted. Next, ineffective followers on the other hand, no? Buy into hierarchy and seeing themselves as subservient, no? Vacillate between despair over the seeming powerlessness and attempt to manipulate leaders for their own purposes. No, dahil members or followers lang daw sila, ang liit ng tingin nila sa sarili nila. No, which is hindi dapat. Again, tandaan natin, walang leader if there are no members of the team or his followers. And sometimes they attempt to manipulate their leaders para sa pansariling kadahilanan. Mas lamang yung mentality nila for personal gain rather than the accomplishment of the team or ng company or ng group. No? Self-managed followers give their organizations a significant cost advantage, no? Because they eliminate much the need for elaborate supervisory control systems. Example, no? A large Midwestern bank redesigned or ni-revise nila yung kanilang personal selection system to attract self-managed workers. No? Kumbaga, mga quality and effective workers or followers. They conducted their interviews na kung saan ang hinahanap nila ay yung types of experiences, yung initiative, how to play in a team, mayroong independent thinking in every aspects. At bukod sa normal job description orientation na ginagawa nila, nagdadagdag sila ng programa that will emphasize self-management. While, for the executive level, role-playing ang kanilang nagiging interview process. How you disagree with your boss, how you prioritize your in-basket after vacation. No? After 3 years of this kind of a tradition, the employee turnover o yung bilang ng mga nag-resign na employees ay talaga naman bumaba, as well as yung need for supervisors and yung admin cost ay bumaba din. It is because ang mga employees ay mayroong self-management. They know how to troubleshoot and perform their functions accordingly and productively. Most of their workers are effective followers, whereas ang supervisor ay overseer na lamang. No? Of course, not all cadets and managers like having self-managing subordinates. No? Yung iba, gusto nila yung ship or yes people. For advice, in that particular situation, the best that good followers can do in this situation is to protect themselves with little career self-management. That is, to stay attractive in the marketplace. The qualities that make a good follower are too much in demand to go begging for long. Okay? So, wag pong mag-alala, no? Maraming magagamit. Sabi natin kanina, lahat na followership skills ay magagamit mo kahit saan. Number 3, commitment. Effective followers are committed to something, a cause, a product, an organization, an idea, in addition to the care of their own lives and careers. Some leaders misinterpret this commitment. No? Seeing their authority acknowledged dahil most of them, ang akala nila ang commitment ng isang effective follower ay nasa kanila. Which is different. Dahil again, the commitment of the effective follower is more often sa goal ng organization as well as to their own career. And isang ugali ng mga effective follower, they see their leaders as merely as co-adventurers on a worthy crusade. No? And if they suspect their leader na medyo nawawala na ang commitment or there is some conflicting motives, they may just withdraw their support either by changing jobs or by contriving or creating a plot to change their leader. No? The opportunities and the dangers posed by this kind of commitment are not hard to see. On the one hand, commitment is contagious, no? Contagious. Nakakahawa or nakaka-impluwensya. Na ikaw ba naman, makita mo lahat ng kasama mo nagkatrabaho na maayos. Hindi ba kahiyahiya naman kung wala kang ambag o wala kang gagawin? Diba? Dapat mindset natin, hanap tayo ng gagawin. Diba? Hindi na uubos ang trabaho. Kaya mayroon at mayroon kang maitutulong. Halos lahat naman ng tao, no? Lalo na sa ating mga Pilipino, we are doing our jobs with passion. No? We love our works, which keeping our morale high. For those workers who begin to wander from their purpose are jostled back or pushed back into line. Bakit? Nawawala po kasi yung why, no? O yung dahilan nila to continue their jobs. While projects o yung mismong trabaho were staying on track and on time. So, anong gagawin? O ano yung role ni manager or ni leader? No? Even a small appreciation of commitment and the way it works can give managers an extra tool with which to understand and channel the energies and loyalties of their subordinates and can boost the morale of the workers. On the other hand, no? Followers who are strongly committed to goals but not consistent with the goals of their companies can produce destructive results. Again, it can produce destructive results. Leaders having such followers can even lose control of their organizations. Paano po nangyayari yung destructive results? Example, no? It is another story. There is a scientist at a computer company who cared deeply about making computer technology available to the masses. No? And her work was outstanding, very outstanding, very na outstanding pa. No? So since her goal was in line with the company's goals, she had a few problems with top management. There are some managers who work at cross purposes to that vision. In other words, hindi nagtutugma yung gusto nilang mangyari. Ang ginawa ni scientist, no? She exercised or used all of her considerable political skills para pabagsakin ng kanyang mga superiors. At ito, nakita at napansin ng kanyang mga immediate supervisors at na-label siya bilang thorn in the side. Kaso, she was quite effective in furthering her cause because she saw eye to eye with the company leaders. Napatunayan na niya yung worth niya sa company. Napatunayan niya na mas may worth siya kaysa sa mga superiors niya. Kumbaga, mas kapaki-pakinabang siya. Kaya, nagtagumpay si scientist. But, what if her vision and the company's vision ay magkaiba? For sure, magbabago ang kwento. Pwedeng magpigil na lang or sumabay na lang sa agos si scientist. Or pwedeng lumipat na lang siya ng ibang company. But take note, pwede rin pong magbago ang kwento na ito if there will be effective leaders or supervisors sa itaas niya. Because these effective leaders know how to channel the energies of strong commitment in ways that will satisfy corporate goals as well as followers' personal needs. Diba? Magbabago po yung kwento kung sakali may effective leader. No? Anyway, these diverging stories represents na malaki ang impact ng commitment into one's future. No? Commitment po ang mag-create ng daanan para sa goal mo. Okay? So, competence and focus. On the grounds that committed incompetence is still incompetence. Ang mali ay mananatiling mali. Ang kulang ay mananatiling kulang hanggat hindi napupunan. Ang mga effective followers po, masters their skills that will be useful to the organizations. They perform higher standards than the work environment requires. Sabi ko nga po kanina, in every little thing they do it with their greatest effort, and continuing education is second nature to them. Lagi silang nag-aaral o nag-acquire ng mga new skills which is essential in professional development o yung pag-unlad natin sa industriyang kinabibilangan natin. Less effective followers expect training and development to come to them. Para silang siwang tamad na naghihintay na bumagsak na lamang yung mansana sa bibig nila. The only education they acquire is force-fed. Napilitan pa sila. If not sent to a seminar, they don't go. Their competence deteriorates or kakalawangin sila unless some leader gives them parental care and attention. Yun papasok yung role ni effective leader. So, good followers take on extra work gladly. But first, they do an excellent job on their core responsibilities. Alam nila kung ano ang kanilang strengths as well as their weaknesses, and they contribute well to teams. If ever they are asked to perform in areas kung saan mahina sila, they speak up. They are like athletes stretching their capacities. They don't mind risking failure. Kung alam naman nila they can succeed, But they are careful to spare the company's wasted energy. Masasayang yung oras, and there will be poor performance by accepting those challenges na sana napaghandaan naman sana na mabuti. Let us remember, good followers see their co-workers as colleagues rather than competitors. Hindi po sila nakikipagtagisan ng kakayahan. Hindi rin dapat kainggitan. Dahil they are one in the first place. If the company goals are met, lahat naman sila ay mag-benefit. At the same time, effective followers often search for overlooked problems. Iniisip lahat ng aspects na pwedeng mangyari. To explain that, we have two stories. The first story is, there is a woman on a new product development team. She discovered that no one was responsible for coordinating engineering, marketing, and manufacturing. So she worked out an interdepartmental review schedule that will identify the people who should be involved at each stage of development. Yung mga taong capable to work out for that particular fields na hindi niya forte or gamay. No? Instead of burdening her boss with yet another problem, nag-take na siya ng initiative to present the issue along with a solution. This is storytelling us, no? This is storytelling us, yes, no? Yes, there is a problem or issue, and there will always be problems, no? But instead of just relying to her boss, she presented the problem along with a solution. Pinapakita lang ng ganitong attitude na she is capable of handling those situations even if it is not her forte. She can give solutions to aid the problems at her hand. Okay? So this story next, no? Next story is the second story is referring to another woman who put efforts to fill a dangerous void in the company she cared about. Young managerial talent in this manufacturing corporation had traditionally made careers in production. This company was convinced that foreign competition would alter the shape of the industry. And then, she realized that marketing was a neglected area. Na overlook yung problems with regards to marketing. So, ang ginawa niya, she took classes. She attended seminars and read widely. Pinag-aralan niya na mabuti ang marketing. More importantly, she visited customers to get feedback about her company and competitors' products. So, mas nalaman niya yung kanyang products as well as yung customers' appeal and market position than any of her peers. Now, this extra competence ay nagresulta sa pagganda ng kanyang image as well as for her own career. And it also helped the company na makita yung problema bago pa dumating. Again, this story is telling us for another path kung saan ang isang good follower is a proactive person. Pinag-iisipan niya lahat ng aspects na pwedeng mangyari at iyon ay kanyang pinaghandaan. In other words, nakita niya na may paparating na bagyo, kaya gumawa na agad siya ng paraan para maging handa dito. No? Next is courage. Okay? Courage. Effective followers are credible. They are trustworthy, honest, and courageous. No? They establish themselves as independent and critical thinkers kung saan ang kanilang knowledge and judgment ay talaga mapagkakatiwalaan mo. No? They give credit where credit is due. Ibibigay ang credit sa taong nararapat na mabigyan ng credit. They have the courage to admit their own mistakes. Kung sakaling magkamali man, hindi na dapat pang magturo ng kung sino-sinong sisisihin. They just have to focus for a solution para maiayos yung problema and sharing success. No? Again, they are team players. Lahat sila ay may ginawa to attain those successes or goals. Tagumpay ng isa, tagumpay ng lahat. No? And take note, they form their own views and ethical standards and stand up for what they believe in. Hanggat alam nila na tama ang kanilang ginagawa, magpapatuloy sila. In the end, bakit ka titigil o hihinto? O kung wala ka namang ginagawang mali. Diba? So, these effective followers are insightful. No? They had deep understanding. Sa Tagalog po, maunawain. No? Maunawain. Candid or sincere sa kanilang ginagawa. And they are fearless hanggat nasa tama sila. Okay? So, take note po, no? Again, on the other side of the coin, of course, these effective followers, they can be also a great trouble, no? For those leaders na may questionable ethics. Sabi nga natin kanina, 'di ba? They can be destructive lalo na kung ang leader o supervisor nila is not capable or questionable for that position as a leader. Okay? So, again, those are, no, the qualities of an effective follower. Okay? So, cultivating effective followers. No? So, you may have noticed by now, no? Yung mga qualities na nabanggit natin kanina are the same qualities na mayroon ng isang effective leader. So, hindi po yun nagkataon lang. It is because followership is not a person, but a role. At ang pinagkaiba ng isang follower kay leader is not the intelligence or character. Again, but the role they play. Again, to summarize, effective followers and effective leaders are often the same people playing different roles and parts at different hours of the day. In many companies, or managing most of the organizations, the leadership track is the only road to career success. Ang leadership ay tinuturo and encourage, where followership is not. Yes, that is effective and proven naman. But to emphasize, wag natin kalimutan, followership is a prerequisite for organizational success. Tandaan natin, the organization is consists of a leader and its members. Walang i-lead si leader kung wala naman ng members, no? So kailangan din natin silang i-train at i-educate. So here are 4 steps to cultivate effective followers in our workforce. First, redefining followership and leadership, no? Our stereotyped but unarticulated definitions of leadership and followership shape our expectations when we occupy either position. Kung ang isang leader is defined as responsible for motivating followers, the leader will likely act toward followers as if they needed motivation. Kung sakali naman na ang trabaho ng leader ay to transform their followers, then it must be a follower's job to provide great results for the day. No? Now, if those followers fail to heed transformation, magmumukhang ineffective o palpak ang leader. So kung ganito ang definition natin for leader and follower, malamang talaga magbabago yung outcome or resulta ng interaction. Instead of seeing the leadership role as a superior and more active than the role of the follower, we can think of them as equal. But different activities, or they have different roles to play. In this module, we are defining the leader, which is having the vision to set corporate goals and strategies. Maunguna ka sa mga strategies sa pag-abot ng goal. The interpersonal skills to achieve consensus or agreement from different individuals. The verbal capacity to communicate enthusiasm or makapag-encourage sa iba't ibang tao o grupo. The organizational talent to coordinate different efforts. Pagkasama-samahin niya yung talents and efforts ng members to attain the goals. And above all, the desire to lead. Yun po yung, according to this module, that is the definition of a leadership role. Now next, we will define the people who are effective in the follower role, which is having the vision to see both the forest and the tree. Now, meaning, to see the big picture or the general situation, to see the situation as a whole. It is because sila ang nagkatrabaho sa field. They need to see the general situation para malaman o makita yung maaaring maging solution. Next, he or she has the social capacity to work well with others, the strength of character to flourish without heroic status. In other words, he is a great team player. He has the moral and psychological balance to pursue both his personal and corporate goals at no cost to either. And above all, the desire to participate in a team effort for the accomplishment of some greater common purpose. Okay, this view of leadership and followership can be conveyed or ma-relay natin into our employees directly and indirectly in training and by example. Pwede po tayong mag-conduct ng followership training to make good followers. Pero mas maganda kung by example. Tayo po mismo, ipinapakita natin sa kanila to set as an example. Dahil kung kaya kong gawin, kaya mo din gawin. Since each of us plays a follower's part, at least from time to time, it is essential that we play it well. And we should contribute our competence and skills to achievement of team goals. We should support the team leader with candor or sincerity and self-control or discipline. Gawin natin yung best natin, as well as let's enjoy the role of quiet contribution to our larger but common cause. Naalala ko lang doon sa word na enjoy. Sabi sa akin ng instructor ko, pag umuulan at ikaw ay nasa labas, magpayong ka. Kung wala kang payong, manghiram ka ng payong. Wala kang mahiraman, sumilong ka na muna. Wala kang masilungan, basa ka naman na, at least, enjoyin mo na lang yung ulan. It pertains to whatever your situation is. please find the things that at least you can enjoy at. No? It is healthy for your mind. No? It avoids and let you escape from more stress. Okay, so next, honing followership skills. Honing or improving followership skills. Halos lahat ng organization assumes that dapat ituro ang leadership dahil alam naman daw ng karamihan kung paano sumunod o maging follower. This assumptions is based on 3 faulty premises. Una, no? Dahil assumption nila, leaders are more important than followers. No? Pangalawa, following is simply doing what you are told to do. Literal na pagsunod na lang. No? And pangatlo, akala nila, yung energy or motivation, their aims, even the talents of followers is galing lahat kay leader. These are the misapprehensions. Ito po yung mga mali nilang akala. No, again, being a follower is a role. At ang kanyang pinagkaiba kay leader is yung task na mayroon ng isang leader. No, now, to correct these misapprehensions, these are the programs for the follower training. Now, number 1, improving independent critical thinking, no? Yung pagiging knowledgeable enough to do decision makings. Number 2, self-management. The ability to manage our behaviors and even our emotions para mas maging produktibo. Number 3, disagreeing agreeably, no? Tandaan po natin, as long as there is more than one person working in an office, laging magkakaroon ng disagreements o hindi pagkakaunawaan o hindi pagkakasundo. At kapag hindi po ito agad na address, it can waste time and it may have negative results in the productivity. Let us remember, it is important to accept disagreements as a learning opportunity dahil may nakita tayong panibagong perspective. No? I-respect natin and dapat na ma-address natin to in an agreeable manner. Alright? Number 4, building credibility or pagiging katiwa-tiwala. Okay? 5, aligning personal and organizational goals and commitments. Number 6, acting responsibly or maging responsable towards the organization, the leader, co-workers, and oneself. Number 7, similarities and differences between leadership and followership roles. Again, ano yung pagkakaparehas at mga pinagkakaiba ng roles ng leader at roles ng isang follower. And to move between the two roles with ease. Dahil alam mo na yung roles ng leader at follower, you can now move between those two roles. Next is performance evaluation and feedback. Most performance evaluations include a section on leadership skills. Followership evaluation would include items like the qualities na nabanggit po kanina. Instead of rating employees on leadership qualities such as self-management, independent thinking, originality, courage, competence, and credibility, we can also rate the followers with the same qualities as of a leader. And then evaluate each individual's ability to shift easily from one role to the other. Mas maganda po yun, no? These performance perspectives ay makakatulong po na mas maunawaan natin kung paano nagagampanan yung roles nila as a leader and a follower. Moreover, evaluations can come from peers, from subordinates, and as well as from their supervisors. Okay? So, this process is simple enough. Manggagaling ang evaluations from the peers and subordinates na nakakilala sa taong iyon with significant contact o yung mismo nakakatrabaho niya. And it may be in some form of a brief or periodic questionnaires where they can rate the individual on followership qualities. Findings are then summarized and given to the employee being rated. And at last, making of an organizational structures that encourage followership. So here are some organizational structure situations where good and effective followership is encouraged or needed. Number 1 situation natin is leaderless groups. Wala pong leader or supervisor. So, all members should assume equal responsibility for achieving goals. These are usually small task forces of people kung saan magtatrabaho sila together under their own supervision dahil wala nga pong leader or mag-supervise. However, this can be done. Magagawa naman po maging successful yon kung sakali naman na magiging highly productive ang members as well as also, they are effective followers. Okay? Number 2 situation. Ito naman, no? May leader kayo, pero temporary and rotating. Pwede po ito kung sakaling maliit lang naman yung department. Pero tandaan po natin, some of these temporary leaders will be less effective than others and may be weak indeed. Okay? Which is why critics say that this structure with temporary or short-term leaders is inefficient. Bakit hindi natin hayaan na mag-lead sa atin yung best leader for the time being na kaya naman niya? No? Why would suffer through the tenure of less effective leaders? Meron tayong dalawang dahilan dyan. First, experience of the leadership role is essential to the education of effective followers. Kumbaga, pina-experience sa kanya kung paano ang role na pagiging isang leader. Second, on the side of the followers, they can learn that they must compensate for ineffective leadership by exercising their skill as good followers. No? Matututunan nila kung paano mapupunan yung mga naging pagkukulang ng isang ineffective leader. Meron mang rotating leader o wala, followers are bound to be faced with ineffective leadership more than once in their careers. No, given na 'yon, no? Makaka-experience tayo, makaka-encounter tayo ng mga ineffective leadership. So dapat mag-focus tayo doon sa coordinated efforts para mapunan natin yung inefficiency. Because again, that is one of our roles bilang tayo ay good followers. No? Number 3. Delegation to the lowest level is a third technique for cultivating good followers. No? Pagbibigay po ng responsibility sa ating mga followers. This kind of delegation makes even people at the lowest levels, they will be responsible for their own decisions and for thinking independently about their work. Doon po sila matututo dahil mayroon ng responsibilidad na nakaatang sa kanilang mga balikat. And finally, no? Companies can use rewards to underline the importance of good followership. This is not as easy as it sounds because there are managers that is dependent on yes people and sheep. No? Para lang masatisfy yung ego nila and they will not come up to the idea of extra rewards para sa mga tao o employees na ayaw nila because they feel uncomfortable. No? In Robert Kelly's research, no, he had found effective followers get mixed treatment. About half the time, no, their contributions led to substantial awards. Binibigyan sila ng awards. Pero ang iba, napapasama pa for exercising positive judgment, taking risk kung saan maganda naman ang resulta, and failing to conform. No? Marami po kasing manager na nagsasabi at humihiling ng mga independent subordinates who can think for themselves. But in reality, nakikita nila ito as threat. No? Nakikita nila ito as threat sa kanilang position. Kaya habang hindi pa daw namumulaklak, tinatanggal na. No. To summarize, no, companies and organizations will not succeed kung wala ang mga taong may support role. No. Organizations that want the benefits of effective leader or followers must find ways of rewarding them, ways of bringing them into full partnership in the enterprise. Let's imagine of 1,000 of companies kung saan they are treating their employees as second-class citizens. No? You will see a moment of an organization blessed with fully engaged, fully energized, and fully appreciated followers. Okay? So, maraming salamat sa pakikinig ninyo and maraming salamat din sa opportunity na may discuss ko ito. Again, it is such a great honor to discuss this, no, in praise of followers by Robert Kelly. Hindi lang kayo ang may natutunan. Miski ako, ang dami ko na-realize and natutunan. Again, I'm Mr. Clinton Yu, Plv-Rotcu Coordinator. Thank you for listening. Keep safe.